Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel, Hybrid Jamaican-American Art. Today, I'll be making Jamaican jerk chicken that my Jamaican auntie guided me on how to make. Now, I already have a video of making Jamaican jerk chicken, but in that video, I used the chicken thighs and baked them. Whereas in this video, I'll be using the quarter legs and grilling. And that's the more traditional way of making Jamaican jerk chicken. Now to season the Jamaican jerk chicken, I'll be using the same spices as last time. Those seasonings are black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, thyme leaves, paprika powder, Maggie powder, and of course, jerk seasoning, Jamaican style jerk seasoning. And just a point, some people like to use the paste, but me personally, that makes it a little too spicy. So I like to use the powder, but you can use the paste if you want to. So let's get started. Something I like to do before I season the chicken is I like to make little slits in the chicken pieces. That way, when I season the chicken, the spices can really get in there. It's not something you have to do, but it helps. And I actually learned this trick from watching a YouTube channel of a different culture, which just goes to show we can learn from each other. And the slits, they don't have to be major, they don't have to be plenty, they don't have to be all over. Again, you don't even have to do them at all, but I find it helpful. So, okay. So now that I've made the slits, I'm going to start seasoning my chicken. And you don't have to put the seasonings on and the spices on in any particular order. The only thing I do suggest is that you put the jerk seasoning last. Because again, we want it to be jerk. It's supposed to be spicy, but we don't want it overpowering the other seasonings. So that's just something I like to do. So first, I put in the black pepper. And sometimes I have to put in more seasonings after I season it, but that's what I did first. Now I'm putting in the onion powder. And another tip, if you guys have watched my previous videos of cooking meats, you know that I like to use the powders instead of the salts. It's something I stress a great deal because salt is not something that I like to add to my food. It's the way I was raised by my Jamaican mother, whereas my American daddy, he did do salt a great deal, but he actually got better with it too. Because although, like one of my best friends from college pointed out, it's not that your body can't have salt, because your body needs salt to some extent, but not all the overloading. Because that is what causes conditions like hypertension, high cholesterol, just not good things for your body. So that's why I prefer to use powders over the salt. Okay, let me do this the way I normally do it. Better control this way. So I put in the onion powder, the pepper, the onion powder, the garlic powder. Now I'm putting in the thyme leaves. A lot of times I do use fresh thyme when cooking, but for something like this, I use the thyme leaves. But of course, just because that's what I'm doing, that's not to say that you have to do it. This is guidance. This is to learn. But we all have our own way of doing things. Okay, now I'm going to add the paprika. And I don't cook with paprika a great deal. Okay, that was dumb. But again, for some stuff, I do because it helps. Not so much with flavor itself. It gives a little flavor. It's color, and it helps. It helps out. Even though I'm making a mess. Now the Maggie powder. And it's funny because even though I like to cook with Maggie powder, again, it wasn't until I was learning another cultural cooking that I don't even think if I even knew of Maggie powder before then. So again, this goes to show we can learn from one another. And once I got into Maggie powder, I actually like it. I probably use it on a regular basis for chicken. Maybe not always, but on a regular basis. Actually, you know what? I can tell already it's going to need a little bit more. And that's another thing. As you learn cooking stuff, you kind of learn as you go. Sometimes you don't even have to follow actual measurements. You just learn as you go. And as me Jamaican auntie, who taught me several Jamaican cooking, she had told me, practice, practice, practice. And she was right. Practice, you practice, you practice. And we often learn. That's how we learn. Okay, so now the last seasoning, which I don't think I'll have to put more of the others in, but the last seasoning is the jerk seasoning. Most important for jerk chicken. And again, jerk is spicy, so you gotta be careful with it. I'm not big on jerk chicken myself. I have a family member who loves it. I'm more the curry, and they're more the jerk. But in both cases, You want your food to be spicy, but you gotta be careful. Because if it makes it too spicy, sometimes it just becomes totally not edible. Okay, so I seasoned the stuff. I seasoned the chicken. I'm mixing them in. Again, like I said, just by looking at it, I can tell that this is more of what Jamaican jerk chicken is supposed to be like. Like I said, in my first video of Jamaican jerk chicken, I used the thighs. It wasn't bad, but I have a feeling that this is going to be much, much better. So I'm just going to marinate the chicken. I like to rub, make sure the seasonings get in. And then I like to marinate. I probably won't marinate as long since it's jerk. I usually let the meats marinate for several hours, which I will with this too, but probably not as much. And you know what? I think I am going to add a few more seasonings, so I'll do that and then I'll be back. So you can see the end result for when it's ready to marinate. Okay, so my Jamaican jerk chicken is all seasoned now. So I'm going to cover it and put it in the refrigerator so it can marinate. And by God's grace, in several hours, I'll be back to cook it. So hope to see you then. Hours later, I'm back to cook my Jamaican jerk chicken legs. As I said when seasoning them, I'll be cooking them on the grill. That way, by grilling them, they can get a better flavor than baking them in the oven will. The grill I'm using is a basic type grill, but it works, so let's get to cooking. Grilling the chicken is pretty easy as long as you control your fire, monitoring your fire, keeping it under control. Watching your fire and watching your chicken. And grilling chicken can also cook faster than baking chicken. As of course, as always, as with cooking meats, just about any form of cooking. You want to keep your eye on it, flipping it occasionally, because you don't want it to be undercooked on one side and then burnt up on the other. And as I was saying, grilling can cook faster than baking in the oven. So I'm going to cover the chicken. That way it will cook nicely. And also all that flavor of the jerk, and the aroma of the jerk can really get in the chicken. Okay, now chicken's cooking for probably about a good half hour. Obviously, one side of the grill is being more successful, more cooperative than the other side. So I'll probably have to switch them around. But the jerk chicken is cooking fairly well. And it's too bad I don't care for jerk chicken because I really do like the smell of this, the aroma. I wish you could smell it. Okay. As they say, we're getting there. And if you don't know when if your chicken is cooked or not, the good thing is just take a knife, or even in this case, a fork, stick it in. And I can tell by looking at it, it's not done yet. I didn't think it would be, but it's just a tip. So if anyone wants skinless, there it is. I'm just going to keep cooking until it's ready. And then my Jamaican jerk chicken will be finished. Will be ready to cook, ready to eat. Okay. So after an hour of cooking, my Jamaican jerk chicken is done. As I was saying, being that I cooked it on the grill instead of in the oven like the first time, the jerk chicken is more like what jerk chicken is supposed to look like, taste like. It's more of the traditional jerk chicken. Again, not that the other one was bad. Baking it in the oven wasn't bad, but cooking it on the grill was so much better. Okay, so my Jamaican jerk chicken is done. Again, even though I don't care for it myself, I'm glad me auntie guided me on how to make it. And again, cooking it on the grill was much better than baking it in the oven. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you very much. I hope this helps guide you on how to make Jamaican jerk chicken. And I hope you return, as by God's grace, I'll be returning with more Jamaican cooking and other aspects of hybrid Jamaican-American art. Till next time.